Welcome back to song 3 in this series of 10. This time we have Itchycoo Park by Small Faces. Of the 10, I'd argue that this requires the least analysis, as the meaning behind it is by no means deep or sophisticated. In fact, the band didn't even realise that the song was being released, and did not consider it to be among their best works, despite its significant popularity. In any case, let's see what they said. Over bridge of sighs, to rest my eyes in shades of green, under dreaming spires, to Itchycoo Park, that's where I've been. This passage speaks to me of the connection boomers felt to the society of old. Though we sometimes disparage the attitudes of typical boomers, with this song still fitting that mould, one must remember that the world boomers were born into was still a beautiful, prosperous, high-trust society. The various band members each had their own Itchycoo Park, with the Itchycoo Park supposedly being this park in London, whilst band member Kenny Jones's Itchycoo Park was the post-war bomb ruins of the East End. Yet, even in such an environment, this first part of the song speaks of dreaming spires and beautiful shades of green. The beauty, which is present throughout the song, is to me what the boomers inherited from their ancestors. So, what did they do with this? What did you do there? I got high. What did you feel there? Well, I cried. But why the tears there? I'll tell you why. It's all too beautiful, it's all too beautiful, it's all too beautiful, it's all too beautiful. Yep, they took drugs, bloody brilliant. Naturally, to the mind of the boomer, this drug taking is seen as beautiful in and of itself, as well as enhancing the natural beauty of what's already there. In reality, though, it's nothing more than the descent from moral virtue into moral vice. At the same time, it's the benefit from the beauty inherited, with the disregard for how such beauty was created and cultivated. I'm sure that there was no consideration of the attitudes of the men who built these dreaming spires or planted and managed the flora in their shades of green. Instead, these are men of a decayed age and mentality, marvelling at the achievements of better men, but without the aspiration to become better themselves. I feel inclined to blow my mind, get hung up, feed the ducks with a bun. They all come out to groove about, be nice and have fun in the sun. This part is more of the same, yet it further emphasises the somewhat naive mind of the boomer. Nature, in reality, is a harsh struggle for survival. Yet here, as has long been a tradition in British media, nature is paradise-like, almost as though it was the Garden of Eden. Make no mistake though, this is not the ancient natural state of England, but instead a state of nature that was cultivated by our ancestors. This is most famously understood through such efforts as the eradication of wolves from the British Isles. Now, in this song, the ducks are here, chilling in the pond, eating bread gifted to them by the kindness of the English people, and they all come out to groove about. This, for a duck, is a life of paradise. In a way though, this is also the ideal life envisioned by Small Faces and many boomers. They, like the ducks, benefit from the efforts of greater men who built their cosy and safe environment, and, like the father giving his disappointment of a son money in the Free Electric Band, the boomers of this time, teenage as they were, lived largely off of the wealth created by other people. Yet, without management, the pond would become overgrown, algae-filled and unappealing, with the ducks powerless to stop this. And so too does the boomer paradise of getting high at the park lead to the decay of their paradise once those who had been supporting it no longer can. In short, the boomers portrayed here lived a life of paradise, yet failed to maintain the standards and attitudes necessary to keep their paradise alive. Good times created weak men, and weak men went on to create hard times. Decadence led to decay. Anyway, I'll tell you what I'll do, what will you do? I'd like to go there now with you. You can miss out school, won't that be cool? Why go to learn the words of fools? Most of what I wanted to say here has been said already, but the last point to make here is that, as portrayed in the song, the band at this time was still meant to be in school and were bunking off school to get up to these antics. Again, this is the forsaking of the means to become the better men upon which society relies, in favour of hedonistically enjoying its fruits, the fruits of other men they refuse to become themselves. I hope you have got the idea here. the boomers of this song forsaked the productive ways needed to keep society running, and instead indulged in its glory whilst things were still good. At this time, they had put none of the work in to build the society, but happily consumed its life force. Still today, the largest recipients of state welfare, mostly through pensions, are baby boomers. So in some way, this state of affairs for the last 60 to 80 years has not changed. Now, obviously, most boomers did, of course, go on to contribute to society, and other generations since have hardly been angels either, but what I'm drawing attention to here is the attitude of consumption when times were good, which has led to times becoming far worse. That is an attitude characterised by the baby boomers that seems to me to have never truly gone away.